Or is with us in spirit but not in mind due to raiding going on? Would
Nope.
that be it?
Nope, I'm right here.
Oh, the raid has finished. That was a quick raid.
Yeah, that was fast.
What kind of raid do they have nowadays?
Well,
Someone's been gearing.
It's World PvP, it's not a raid.
Ah,
Okay.
boo.
Yeah, and the Alliance are
People running around shouting, "Raid!"
So,
Boo. By the way, we are live, just to let you guys know.
You do enjoy doing that, don't you, Plum?
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
we are alive, which is nice.
Yeah, if I don't catch a conversation like halfway through, I'm kind of disappointed. You know?
It is the way that things are done around
It
here.
is.
I think at this point, like the listeners are disappointed too. You know, they're kind of like, wait a minute, this isn't how it's supposed to
Yeah.
go.
This is how we get most of our questions, you know. We just sort of engage in this, like, the second half of a conversation, and then they just ask us what the hell were we talking about.
A similar thing with the ending as well. Like if we actually, sign off by saying, "Okay, thank you for joining us, goodbye."
That will be the last episode we ever do. I will quit, and I will take you guys all down with me if we do that.
We've had so many episodes where you're not here, and it's such a clusterfuck. We're like, oh shit, what do we do? I don't know who really does it. Fuck!
You lost.
Oh, hey, I fixed it.
Aw.
Hooray!
Somewhat.
Hey, we've got a CV. Fantastic.
It's really dark. Let me see if I can stop it not being so dark.
I've got a potato quality.
That is also known as turning on the lights.
I could do that. Yeah.
Wow. I mean, Jesus Christ. Welcome to the stream, one and all. We do have a special guest here today, a bag of Vicodin. I have no idea why we brought him in.
I don't know.
We were desperate.
Oh, we had needs.
We have needs that must be met, and Vic ticks all
Needs
the
only a bag of Vicodin can fill.
He says drinking alcohol.
Oh, jeez. I've
He's
got
run off.
alcohol. I've got my standard bottle of scotch here, but I've also got some like craft brewery stuff from local. I've got Iron Maiden beer. I didn't know this was a thing.
I
Is
want
Eddie on the
it.
cover? Oh my god, it is.
Yeah, it's literally the trooper from Iron Beer. I have no. Here we go, live taste test.
Let's see.
Wow.
Yeah, it's alright.
A beer connoisseur
It's
here.
alright, he says. Okay.
You realise you have to send me some now, Plum. Right, I don't care what it costs. Just send me some.
To be fair,
I'd describe it as malty, probably. Not
for a
particularly-
British person, it's fine. It's probably the best compliment you're going to get.
True enough. It won't kill you. Yeah.
Except
Yeah.
probably-
Welcome to the
It's
stream.
okay.
We should probably talk about the last round of reviews quickly, because that's the thing we tend to do. Ferret, do you want to kick us off with the first one, whatever it was?
A Day at the
WoW
Quest
one.
Hub.
Yes.
Yes, which is awesome.
Mhm.
It's a spin-off fic from Captain Chrysalid's World of Ponycraft, which was basically his, what if we take WoW and make ponies the new PC race? Which
Okay.
is adorably hilarious.
Mm.
It's honestly, it's a lot more than that. It's literally, because it's written from the point of view that, like, WoW is a real world, so it starts with Deathwing,
Mm.
does his deep breath thing and murders everyone in Ponyville.
Mm. Okay.
And then,
Solid beginning.
yeah, and Twilight basically ends up like going out on this big adventure quest. And it's one of those, okay, we're going for one thing, but then there's like 6 other things we can do in the area, and then there's another thing to do in the area, and alright, we're doing 7 different quests at once, because why not?
Because that's
And then
actually the game.
And then the DPS are standing in the fire, and the healer's like, "God damn it!"
Yeah, the healer is Fluttershy.
Applejack stood in the fire, yeah, of course. Because
Yep.
they always do.
Yes,
you need the
that's
tank
literally
to
what it
drag
opens
someone.
with, is Deathwing going, everything is pain! And then he deep breathes Ponyville, and you just get Applejack stood in fire, Twilight Sparkle stood in fire, Pinkie Pie stood in fire, and then a squeak from Rainbow Dash failing to get the achievement.
Oh, I forgot about that achievement. Oh, I didn't even know that was a thing until I got the achievement. I was like, oh, well, that's nice. That goes some way to, count for the fact that I just got murdered, but
I mean, it's something. It's
something.
Good for you. You get a participation achievement.
It's literally a participation award. Yay.
Yeah, exactly.
You died.
It's them going on this big adventure, and it also sort of retcons a bit of like how Nightmare Moon happened.
Right.
She's like fighting off the Silithis.
Oh, I know the Silith. They're insect creatures that are servants of the old gods in
Yeah,
WoW.
so basically they were like invading, and she manages to drive them off
Cool.
and
That sounds
whatnot.
a bit like that Nightmare Moon comic that IDW did.
Yeah,
were
I think
like-
it's quite similar to that.
Right. And this is all Captain Chrysalid's story, isn't it?
Yeah, this is his thing. So I think it's probably before that,
Mm.
because it's a fairly old fic.
Yeah.
So Day at the Quest Hub is sort of a spiritual successor to it, except Day at the Quest Hub is literally what would it be like if you were an NPC in this world? So like Carrot Top tries adventuring and gets murdered by an undead rogue.
Yeah, I know that story. Oh, Jesus.
Yes, she gets murdered and then has to watch herself be eaten.
Oh,
And then
yeah.
literally like turns to leave, and what's her name? Sylvanas, I think.
Sylvanas Windrunner, yeah.
Yeah, Sylvanas shows up and goes, okay, yeah, no, go back and live. And Carrot Top's kind of like, wait, what? I'm dead? No, your world got fucked up, and now you don't die properly, and it really sucks. Now go the hell away.
Fair enough.
So it's really fascinating. It's really cool seeing it from an NPC point of view. Of she teams up with Barry Punch, who runs an inn, and then like this goblin pair come in who are so much like Flim and Flam. I love it. They're my favorite villains because I love the Music Man. So I think they're brilliant. Show up and start trying to muscle them out, and so how they manage to sort of deal with the goblins and dealing with like the fact that it's totally normal to walk into town and there'll be like a giant wolf wandering by.
Yeah.
Or that Fluttershy's an adventurer and a pretty high level one.
I'm just going to. I think probably the greatest the thing that's causing me greatest distress at the moment is how much I still remember about WoW, despite having quit it a long time ago, and how much of my power level I am currently revealing. Like, oh yeah, it's Solithid. They're a bunch of insect races that used to fight for the old gods back when the Titans went to take over Azeroth. Oh fuck.
Yeah, basically, like goes to the Titans and prays to them.
Oh
dear.
God.
Well, see, and I
It's WoW's everyone's take off California, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, pretty much.
You can never really leave.
Don't forget you're here forever. Yeah.
You're
Being
never
ganked by-
leaving us.
Being ganked by undead rogues forever. Oh, Jesus.
Dear, yes.
Oh, Jesus.
No, the reason I really like them is because they basically don't expect you to play WoW.
Mm.
Like, I'm sure there's tons of stuff, but like if you played WoW, you get a way better reference out of it. But there were so many references that I'm like, that could have been a reference, and it was just whoosh, look, a plane.
But you're saying that references, they're like the prior knowledge to WoW will help you get the references, but you don't necessarily need it to enjoy the story. Is that
Not
correct?
at all. Like, they explain the Silithid, and they explain Titans and stuff, and like they explain, that she's been murdered by an undead rogue, and they explain like what the Horde's like and everything else. Like, and the goblins and whatnot. Like, everything is really well described and filled out, so it makes a lot of sense.
I think that's really important for a crossover fic. I mean, especially when you are marketing it on FimFiction, which is a dedicated pony site. You can assume everyone's going to know pony stuff, but power levels aside, you can't really assume that everyone's going to be familiar with WoW or everyone's going to be familiar.
Like, there's plenty of, like, you can acknowledge that people are probably going to know that WoW stands for World of Warcraft, and that they'll probably know there's a group called the Alliance and a group called the Horde, but really anything past that is,
I mean,
kind of
there's
pushing
like the issue with crossovers when one of them is an established fan base and the other one is when you're marketing it to one fan base and you're trying to push this other set of canon into it, is how do you build so that people who don't know WoW can still enjoy it, and yet not make it boring for the people who already know that the Silithid are an insectoid race who serve the old gods,
Yeah.
And try to avoid drowning them in stuff that they learned like 5 years ago, back when they were level 60, something like that.
Yeah.
It's written by Captain Chrysalid, right?
The original one is, yeah, the one Ferret's talking about. Yeah, the original World of Ponycraft was Captain Chrysalid, and A Day at the Quest Hub was by Brain in a Jar?
Brain in the jar.
Brain in a Jar.
Yeah, because a good crossover is capable of blending both elements and basically stripping away the excess fat. Because especially, like, we already have different mediums immediately. When you're in a video game, you're able to just show lore and everything a completely different way other than a story. If you try and do a lore dump in a story, you can lose your reader really quickly.
It's also true.
Confirmed for robot.
This is true.
Yeah,
I love it.
Considered for potato robot.
Yeah, it's worth noting that that's also kind of true in video games. Like the primary appeal of video games is it's you doing the thing. You are the hero of time. You are the soldier in the military. You are doing the thing, and you don't want to be the guy reading about the long-lost kingdom of Lordaeron for 20 hours just before you can go find out what the hell this guy you're fighting is going to do.
In both video games and in books, if you have a lore dump, it kills pacing.
Oh yeah, absolutely. But the way
Also,
you get lore across differs between the two. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. Well, when you're a hero in Lordaeron, you don't really care about the history until it immediately affects you. Like throughout the entirety of
there's very much like, hey, look, it's a quest. I don't care what you have to say. Just tell me how many turtle asses to get.
Yeah, that's true.
Well,
Like,
not only that, but like the heroes in general throughout the entire story that's happened ever since like the recent expansion is that you don't really know that much about the history, especially when it goes up to vanilla, until they're telling you why what happened in history is like messing you up. Like World of Warcraft built off of Warcraft 3 lore, but you could easily go into World of Warcraft like as a hero, like if you're role playing as your hero, or whatever. Like I just want to kill shit, and then like. The reason that, like, the undead race happens is because of what happened in Warcraft 3, and you're like, oh shit, that's why I'm undead now, and that's why so bomb system makes you awesome, like, etc., etc.
Yeah, absolutely true. I mean, I will freely admit I was one of the people who went into World of Warcraft not knowing anything about Warcraft 3, because I didn't really have a gaming PC until I was about, like, 14, 15, so real-time strategy passed me by for the most part. But
I played a lot of original Warcraft and turned people into critters, and then blew them up.
I played Warcraft 2. I played old school Warcraft 2.
Oh, the Frozen Throne, yeah. Since having gotten into World of Warcraft, I have played the games, but I definitely did walk into it not knowing anything about the world of Warcraft. I will say, World of Warcraft's lore in and of itself is kind of interesting in a lot of different ways. Like, there's all sorts of cool shits about the battles between the Titans and the Old Gods and the Burning Legion, and all that shit's cool. And then, on the other end of the spectrum, the Lost Hatch. Like, the Hatch from Lost is 100% part of canon, and you can go find it in the world. And it's just there.
Seems a little confusing.
Yeah, and it's got some really cool stuff, but it's also got a bunch of just
Stuff.
Yeah, it's
random
got
references.
Fillers and references that just seem completely out of place, So.
And then there's Leroy Jenkins.
Well, Leroy Jenkins, I'm 100% approving of.
It's a game that's like 40% created by their community and like 60% created by what the writers wanted to do. So like Jackson
and a dash of dopamine.
In the Hearthstone game, he was first in the Hearthstone game. He was never in Warcraft or anything, and he got put into the recent
Who was in
WoW
Hearthstone first, sorry?
Yeah, he was Hearthstone first.
Who was, sorry?
Leroy.
Reno Jackson. And then they put him...
Jackson, sorry.
Yeah, they put him inside of Warcraft recently.
Right.
So it's because, like Blizzard's having this kind of, if the community likes something, they'll put it in there. But the other interesting thing, I'll take like 2 seconds, is that World of Warcraft is slowly implementing their heroes into the history, and I really, really find that interesting. Because like the next expansion, and like I don't even play WoW, I just find the lore interesting. They're planning on having the heroes get like the really, really powerful swords that the heroes from all the way in the first games use, and the heroes are like creating the history. And I think that's one of the best things you could do for an MMO. That like all the other MMOs like should have done. That would have like made them at least kind of compete with WoW.
WoW itself is an interesting position because it's basically, I think I'm correct in saying it's the first popular MMO of that sort of like, and it's certainly
EverQuest.
After EverQuest.
EverQuest, yeah.
True enough.
I mean, EverQuest and those, like they had the really good nerd appeal, but in terms of like tapping into the more general market,
WoW is absolutely, unquestionably the biggest MMO of all time. There is
not even like vanilla, because vanilla, I think back when it was in vanilla, like that was still pretty nerdcore appeal, but like
I remember
as
that
a
being
pretty
pretty neat.
expansion,
Like, I remember, like I remember that, you know, my really nerdy friends being like, "Oh man, I got into the beta and stuff," but I don't remember like friends who were into just general stuff being really interested. It was originally really targeted to people who were super into the Warcraft stuff.
Mm.
Yeah, it wasn't really until got the not the first, the Wrath of the Lich King, second expansion that started.
Wrath,
I like,
really starting to like target the general audience.
Yeah, I got into WoW during the Burning Crusade, but I know a friend of mine saw Burning Crusade and was like, "That's kind of cool, but it's still for nerds." And then he saw the Wrath of the Lich King cinematic, where, you know, like, if you've seen it, you know which one I'm talking about, where he like summons the dragon from the ice and there's zombies and Blizzard's cinematic team is fucking phenomenal. They are amazing. Like, not just like they've been making fantastic WoW cinematics for years. They've been making fantastic ones for Overwatch as well. The Overwatch cinematics are absolutely top. There should be some sort of medal for these guys, because I think that one Wrath of the Lich King trailer alone got WoW like an extra 100,000 players just straight dead just as soon as they see the fucking ice dragon, you know?
Yeah.
Well, actually, probably more than that, because that's 11 million subs.
Yeah, probably a couple million then. But yeah. Right.
Now,
So
if Plum brought up Overwatch, does that mean we're going to talk about the Tracer controversy?
Moving on to the second story.
I wouldn't even really call that controversy. Like, they handled it so professionally, you know. Buddy was like, "Hey, here's my opinion and whatnot," and they were like, "Hey, actually, that's a really good point. We'll fix that."
The second story.
I just want one last question on the topic of the first story. Ferret, would you recommend A Day at the Quest Hub to someone who has not read World of Ponycraft?
Oh, definitely. Like, it touches on stuff that happened in the first book, but only very, very tangentially. It's basically assuming that... Also, CV, apparently you look a lot like Rusty the Brave.
Rusty the Brave?
I don't know, something D said in the chat.
Oh, it's a Fimfic user, I'm assuming. I've no idea who it is now.
I don't know, I just think it's funny. Yeah, no, it's definitely a very approachable standalone fic, which I quite like.
Fair enough. Second story then, Jet-Powered Pegasus. I was on this one. That was fun, that story. It's like, as I said in my original review, it's a Scootaloo story, and it does feature Scootaloo not being able to fly properly, and it is about her relationship with Rainbow Dash, at least partially, so it's a bit cliche in that sort of sense. However, it does do enough otherwise to make it worth a read, I think. It's not your standard Scootaloo's can't fly, so therefore she's sad, and then other people come along and say, "Oh, it's okay, Scootaloo, you can be an awesome skateboarder," or something. It's all about her using this sort of anger at herself for being unable to do what she wants, and using it to fuel her to like push her to do great things, to push her beyond what she would normally be able to do. And this cumulative, can't even speak. This sort of coalesces and comes together when she basically enters the biggest race in the world, despite not technically being able to fly on her own, because she's got a jetpack or a jet engine strapped to her back.
Yeah, I think there's some messages like they basically are desperately trying to change the rules when she enters.
Yes, that's one other thing. Spitfire is the main antagonist in this story, except for possibly Scootaloo's own self-loathing.
That's something you don't see every day.
Spitfire is so rarely the antagonist.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
It's usually like cheering in the background at the most.
Yeah, the reason why Spitfire's the antagonist in this one is she feels that Scootaloo is undermining the spirit of competition. Like, she's cheating in order to get a free pass and become famous. Like, she's not talented herself, so she's using technology as a crutch to beat those who have worked hard for whatever it is. Obviously, not necessarily the case, but that's her point of view on the situation.
You can totally see how it would come across that way.
You can. Her mentality is justified there. Really,
it
sounds like it.
Justified from the facts that she knows, but we, being the third person, omnipotent, whatever, we know that it's not actually the case. But I would absolutely recommend this story. I'm not going to spoil how it ends. I'm not going to talk more about how, like, Spitfire's character as, other than she's a bit bitchier than she normally is, but then again, it's kind of understandable in context because she's talking to a kid who wants to basically ruin her entire way of life, sort of thing.
Yeah, it sounds like she'd be kind of very justified with her
She's
anger.
just very defensive in that sort of thing, so which is different from her usual characterization. But
I mean, it's not like we haven't seen Spitfire be a little bit bitchy before in canon anyway. I mean,
true enough,
there was Rainbow
Yeah.
Falls, for example.
Right, yeah, true enough.
Apologies to Manaphy, who Spitfire is.
Yeah.
And all y'all are talking shit.
Yeah. Oh, you're talking shit. Manaphy, your waifu is shit.
Oh.
Shit.
Fired.
Rude.
Uncalled for.
But yeah, go check it out. Spitfire isn't evil in this one. She's just not in full possession of the facts is all. So give it a read. What was the third story? Was that the one? Oh, A Mare Called Rarity. Is that correct?
Yes. Just give me a
Me and I
second to just
did it.
spill drink all over my keyboard.
Ooh.
Oh, no.
It's all right. It's actually quite a good keyboard. Just have to shake it out.
I'm surprised you weren't just like tipping it up and then drinking it out.
Yeah.
It's not
The
whiskey.
question is, can you
Otherwise
blame the
it would be.
cat?
Also, it's not worth it.
Oh dear.
There we go. I think I've got most of it. Yeah, A Mare Called Rarity.
Uh-huh.
It's a western.
It's
Yeah.
a super old western.
It's a really cool western, and I've been kind of a sort of a casual fan of westerns, so I don't know a great deal about them. I know that this fic is making an awful lot of references to an awful lot of westerns. I just can't remember what they are, which actually kind of annoys me. But it felt like I was reading a pony version of Blazing Saddles, for at least part of it.
Yes.
Definitely, yeah. And well, the basic premise is essentially Rarity has to go and get this incredibly special kind of lace from someone who is practically, I don't know, the self-appointed sort of godfather figure, almost kind of
The
this.
sort of sewing sort of thing.
Yes, of the Mild West's fashion center.
Mm.
And it's like you sort of trying to imagine cowboys having a fashion center, which is a really weird thing to begin with. And then they do all their jewels. And this is the one thing I think very sort of caught onto this as well. And the one thing that I really liked about this fic was it starts out almost straight away. It starts out with just taking the absurdity of everything and just using it. So you've got whereas most in the westerns you'd have the confrontation where you'd have, like, I don't know, the knife fight, or they'd have a gunfight or something. Here they have a sew-off.
A sew-off. Okay.
Two people.
They go like, okay, this person, you're the model. The other two of you, make her look better than the other person does.
Yeah. So each of them has a sewing kit on their side, and they're like, sew a dress to fight. It's just, that's the first insanity, and it just keeps going from there with all sorts of
so
crazy,
good.
brilliant, and
I love it.
there's not really much. I can't say much more about it without repeating myself. It's just brilliant.
And you don't want to talk much about the story itself for fear of spoilers, I'm assuming.
To a degree, yeah. I mean, it's
Is there an antagonist at all, or is it just
there
the
is
West
an
itself?
antagonist
There is.
after a fashion.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, the antagonist is.
I can't remember her name.
Oh, what more did I want to spoil it? Because I mean, I suppose she comes across as an antagonist from the beginning.
Okay, no, that's fine. If you feel it's going to give away part of the story itself, then we can.
Not really. It's basically the chick Rarity's getting this lace from. It's called Tamarack lace because the pony who makes it is this creator named Tamarack, and she's just a massive cunt. I say completely unironically, and she sets Rarity to these impossible challenges to earn the right to use this Tamarack lace. And so watching Rarity overcome these challenges is really, really funny, and sort of the friends she makes in town who help her out and whatnot.
Are there any other characters you could compare this individual to? Because the very brief description you've given to me is basically like an early Edna Mole from The Incredibles sort of thing.
Kind of.
Kind
But I
of
mean,
an evil
Edna
version
is.
of Edna Mole, yeah.
An evil
Yeah,
Edna
I'd say
Mole.
like an evil
Okay.
version of Edna Mole.
Okay. Mode. Edna Mode. Yes.
Yeah,
I'm
exactly.
guessed. Fair enough then.
But
Right.
yeah,
Oh, dear.
it follows all the tropes of a western, but it turns them into a pony version of all the tropes of a western.
Yeah, exactly. It's
Exactly
this
how it
pony
is.
version. It's all about fashion and whatnot.
Yeah.
It's absolutely hilarious.
And, yeah, it's funny.
Good stuff. I'd say read it.
Fair enough. We did have a fourth story, however, the two people who reviewed it are both Phazon, who is Phazon and not here, and BP, who has less than one internet. So
Yeah.
he's also not
We
here.
should try to send him more internets, but they
We
keep getting
should.
lost in the mail.
We should. They
Well,
get lost.
it's because
We
you
email them.
keep emailing them. Yeah, I was going to say.
Email them. I stick them in an envelope.
Guys, I've kind of got a bit of a secret to tell you. I've been doing something for the last 15 or 20 minutes, and I think you might like what I've been doing.
I feel like we should get Pav's reaction to this. This sounds like a
I've
Pav
actually
scenario.
been I actually just finished reading the fourth story because I figured I might be able to talk about it.
Oh, Pav's disappointed.
I've actually been reading the fourth story for the last however
Were you
many
at
minutes, and I just finished it.
While you were reading the fourth story, were you at least not wearing pants? Or
Yeah, I mean, come on,
Do I look like I'm not wearing pants?
give me
I know.
something here. Give me
On
something.
on the internet, nobody is wearing pants unless you can see evidence otherwise. This is the
True
truest
enough.
of facts.
That's true.
So, what do you think of the fourth
Pat,
story then,
that's why they're wearing
CV?
skirts.
Well, what I think of the fourth story is that I immediately realized from the end of the first chapter what was about to happen, and that is when my feeling of joy just started growing, because I knew, oh god, Rainbow Dash is suddenly Brendan Fraser. And reason for that being, she's found a genie. Genie's kind of a
Wishes
dick.
for Ponies. I've read that.
Oh,
Genie's
you read
kind
it,
of a
which is
dick.
what that is.
Yeah, it was
So-
one of the
so
six
you've
I
got your,
recommended to be reviewed in the first place.
So it's kind
So
of like
you've got your
it's kind of like
got your
Aladdin
sort of
if
plot.
Aladdin was the genie, sort of thing.
Yeah.
It's I actually we all know stories of genies and wish granting deities and eldritch abominations and all that who are capable of great cosmic power. But
And
this
also how
one
they
does
slightly
something.
twisted.
This one does something differently. Think about Genie from Aladdin. You know, you make your 3 wishes, and if you're anyone other than Aladdin, he goes back in his lamp. He comes out again to serve the next master. The cycle repeats, and he's been doing that for we don't even know how long. This one's kind of cool because that sort of tips it on its head and makes things a little more fair. But at the same time, it's unfair because you don't realize what you've done when you've made the 3rd wish until you've made the 3rd wish.
And also,
and
this
that was-
genie happens to be a vindictive cow.
Yeah. Sort of. Yeah. So it's Rainbow Dash and Rarity in an antique shop. Finally, it's a little cliche, but then you realize this is going to be fun. And Rainbow Dash makes very predictable wishes. We didn't know too much about her character because the story was written in 2012. So we were only down 2.5 or 3 seasons or something by then. So Rainbow Dash is written very early Rainbow Dash, and she makes a lot of predictable wishes, and they don't quite go to plan. So I'm not going to spoil how they don't go to plan, but I will tell you that I was very amused. And
But I did
there was
find it
only
interesting the way they're subvertive. Like, it isn't a traditional, I wish for X. Well, you're getting X, but you're also getting Y and Z. They actually managed to make it a very creative way that they're altered and changed, which was
So
a
it
nice
wasn't like what's his face? King Midas, was it?
King Midas.
Midas, that's
yeah.
the one who wished that everything
Yeah.
he touched turned to gold and then couldn't eat because
hugged his children. Yeah.
Yeah,
and just starved to death.
jerk off.
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
Well, I mean, it worked in the Austin Powers movie.
Sure.
Yeah,
I'll tell you,
Gold.
I didn't actually expect to take the title of the story literally. Like, I just thought, oh, if wishes were ponies, that's all right, sure. But then it's explained, and you realize, oh, that's a very clever title, and I'm glad that's very subtle.
Yeah, I like the title of it.
I'm gonna
Fair
read this
enough.
one now.
Yeah, I do. I definitely do really recommend it because it's a fairly quick read and it's really, really well done. Like even, like it does require a grain of salt in that this is early season Rainbow Dash.
Yep.
You know, she wouldn't act the way she wouldn't act that way now, but even taking that into account, it's a really, really good fic.
Another
Like
thing
I'd
to
put
note
it up
is
there with
that
like Book
Rarity
Player's
is
Dubious
one
Intent.
Sorry, I was kind of talking over you there, Ferret.
It happens.
Yeah.
It happens a lot here. We should ask Cor about it more, and then immediately talk over him as he tries to answer.
What are you gonna do?
Don't worry, Cor. We'll let you go back to WoW.
I just wanted to make sure that you guys heard sort of both of the things that we said at the same time, which can be difficult. So let me. What did you say, Ferret? Because I actually missed it myself.
I said basically in terms of like ponies and mystical artifacts, I'd put it right up there with Book Player's Dubious Enchantment, which is another awesome fic that people should read.
Oh, that one. Yeah. And what I said, you guys probably heard me more than Ferret, but what I said was that Rainbow is not the only character that was written well for her time. Rarity absolutely shines in this story as a supporting role, even though she's not there for very long. But she's the one who makes the initial push for Rainbow to start the rest of the sort of episodic slice of life adventure that this is by herself. So she's the one who gives Rainbow the push, and then the rest of the story happens. So and the way that she does it it's very nice. It's very Rarity, and I appreciate that.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
Fair enough.
Pretty cool.
But it's nice too because its rarity has changed and grown since the show started, but she still feels pretty solidly true to herself. Like it's still that basic core of Rarity going, hey, here's an idea.
It's a nice evolution because at the core of it, you can see how she's changed, and you can see that it's a person changing. It's not just a different person. You know?
Yeah, exactly.
There's an evolution there. So it's quite good. If someone were to come along and watch season 5, season 6 now, having not watched seasons 2, 3, and 4, do you think that they would recognize them as the same characters, or?
I think so.
They haven't.
I think with Rarity, it's more true than anyone else because she's had just as many lessons as the others, but she still feels to me, out of all the main 6, the most similar person to who she was when we first met her.
Yeah.
That's my interpretation.
Well,
she's learned lessons. She's learned lessons, but she still feels very her.
Well, I'm just going to say that, in my opinion, Fluttershy has not changed in the slightest in the past 6 seasons.
I would say that she's not changed enough, but I would disagree with you that she's not changed at all because I think that she's definitely gotten a lot more like passive aggressive or going on her own and stuff like that. And letting some of those things she would really bottle up previously, and now she'll be like, just like talking shit behind other ponies' backs, or like rolling her eyes and stuff.
The issue is when she does these like talking shit about someone or whatever, and she's being assertive. It's in an episode where it's all about how Fluttershy is being assertive now. In a general episode where she isn't the main focus, I find that her character really hasn't changed much. You know.
Yeah, but I would say that you could say the same thing with Pinkie Pie, especially.
I really you could say that with almost any of the main 6.
Episode, she will get extremely flanderized.
Yeah, but I think you could say that with almost any of them. When they're not the main focus, they really do sort of become these like 1 or 2 note characters. But I think Pinkie Pie and Fluttershy especially are guilty of that.
I think
because they're both really hard characters to write.
Yeah, Pinkie Pie's better than she used to be because she used to be absolutely horrible in most episodes, at least for me. Now she's more under control. She's not quite as extreme as she used to be.
Philly Vanilli.
Which one was that?
That's the one where
she sang from behind the curtain.
And like Pinkie Pie was like being like, so you're just gonna go up there and everyone's gonna make you cry and
Oh god. That was so cringy.
Yeah.
I hated Pinkie in that. I hated her.
No, absolutely. They've all got episodes where they're less enjoyable characters. But in an average episode, I don't think Pinkie's as bad as she used to be in like season 1, season 2. Because in season 1, season 2, I honestly kind of hated her. Like she was without a doubt my least favorite character because she'd just like there was so many there was so much time when she'd just do something incredibly like embarrassing or cringy, or she'd be incredibly over the top, and it'd just be I don't find enjoyment in that sort of humor, you know. But
am I the only one who? Well, I ask a question like that, I'm asking for trouble. Am I the only one who's just unironically loved these characters from the start and all the way through without changing?
I can say that about most of the characters, but Twilight I've really come to dislike over time.
Really?
Because it felt like everybody else changed, you know, like Rainbow Dash learns to relax a bit and not pick on her friends, and Fluttershy learns how to be passive-aggressive, and Pinkie Pie learns how to tone it the fuck down, and AJ learns how to get her head out of her ass and leave the farm once in a while, and Rarity stops being such a stuck-up bitch, and Twilight Sparkle freaks out over Celestia. Celestia reassures her to calm the fuck down. Next episode, Twilight freaks out over Celestia. Celestia calms her the fuck down.
I don't think
Twilight
that's
freaks
quite
out over Celestia and calms the fuck down.
Recently,
in
though,
season
like,
5,
the
in season
breathing
5,
episodes,
yeah, like Cadence taught her a breathing exercise, and she's been using that to like not freak the fuck out, and like now she's being a mentor to Starlight Glimmer in season 6.
The latest
it's a whole different realm of crazy now.
Or in season 5, where she spent the entire season in the castle and was just like, holy shit, I've read all the books in here, I'm so fucking bored, the writers don't know how to use me.
Yeah, exactly. No, when she was actually in the show, like, up to season 4, I found it was like, hey look, Twilight's an Alicorn, shit's gonna change. Kind of. Mostly it's just, we're not gonna see her anymore, because she's a brick.
Yeah, season 5...
Guys, I've just come up with a wild-ass theory, right? You're gonna like this theory, right? What if Twilight got so bored in season 5 with nothing to do and reading all the books that season 6 and beyond is now just her stories that she's written about her friends?
It's all those Twilight fanfic fics.
This is how Twilight Sparkle's secret shipping folder came to be.
I'm actually going to get to play that for the first time when I go to the States.
It's enjoyable. It's not
very
a bad
fun.
Oh dear. Right, so do we want to talk about the season 6 episode first, or do we want to go for some of the questions that we've been asked?
Well, I don't know. I mean, we should probably talk about Vicodin a little too. I mean, that's
yeah, we should also do that.
Around here.
Yes, well.
It's very
I mean, that, you know, I am the cute, fluffy thing and girl.
I mean, I haven't done anything fanfic related in like 2 years.
Well, you were on that. What was it? Well, you were not. Veronica, you were at the crossover panels on that, weren't you?
Yeah.
Yeah, there's that Doomsday Arcade fic you couldn't shut up about.
I was so proud of it, and then I just didn't finish it again because it's so hard to do. It's like, it's so big.
I know the feeling. I really do.
Too big for Vic. So.
That was a very unfortunate series of sentences put together.
Yeah. Or fortunate in Pav's case.
At BronyCon, I was on a bunch of panels, such as a how to write comedy panel, a crossover panel, there was one other panel. Oh, it was scoping your story for success. So how to like size it out and pace it out. And I did that with 2 other people on Penstroke, and I remember that was the only panel that wasn't recorded, which upset me because I liked that panel.
It wasn't recorded?
For some reason, I think they lost the footage or something, because like when BronyCon put all of the panels up, they were putting up like 12 every hour or something like that, and I went through the entire thing and I couldn't find the scoping panel. But all of the other ones were there.
That is really weird. Huh.
Yeah, like scoping is, like pacing and the length of your fic is one of the things that I think is the most important, because it's complete.
I'd say a lot of things are very important to do, but it's one of the lesser understood things. It's something that more people need to understand properly. Yeah.
Kind of like meta when you're writing poems.
Yeah.
A bit. Yeah. The thing with size is that it depends on what type of story you're telling, whether it be genre or what type of character you're running with. Like, usually, comedies have to be shorter because the joke gets old fast.
Absolutely.
usually horror and stuff like that, need a little extra time so that you can fill out the environment before you start bringing it down upon the character that's supposed to be horrified.
And then not only that, but unless you're going for just a jump scare, like immediate satisfaction scaring situation, like unless you want to do the amnesia of fix, you need a lot of time for the suspense to maintain. You know, like you can't have suspense for 5 seconds. It's got to stay there and continue to build, and it's got to be tension over a period of time. That's what suspense is.
Yeah. Horror is best done when it's allowed to sink in slowly, and you begin to get this sense of unease that things are not quite right, and that feeling grows and grows and grows until it comes to a head. Yeah.
Yeah. One of the hardest struggles of Grimdark is the appearance of familiarity. So.
Oh, is Vic dead? Has
we lost him.
Oh no, Vic! If you can hear us, restart your browser because you're lagging the fuck out right now.
Like,
there he is.
If everyone is familiar.
No, he isn't.
That face though, that's the thumbnail.
We're all laughing, but he was talking about grimdark and horror, so there's gonna be some like big jump here in the middle of the stream now.
He's monster. Yeah.
The thunder monster. Yeah.
Oh dear. But yeah, his point is absolutely true. And while I disagree with the claim that it's the single most important thing that you can do with a fic, it is absolutely something that more people need to understand properly. Like, I remember Obsolescence posted a blog a couple of weeks ago, which was about a story where it was basically one joke for 2,000 words. And no 2,000-word joke is worth telling unless you've somehow managed to make it the most incredible, like, quadruple-layered pun in all of history. Like,
well, unless it's meant to be a Shaggy Dog story.
A Shaggy Dog story?
Well,
I'm not familiar with that.
Skywriter?
You don't know Shaggy Dog story, George?
I've heard of the trope, but I don't know exactly what it means.
A Shaggy Dog story is literally just, it's a joke that never shuts up. It's like it's a Shaggy Dog story, so it's like a Shaggy Dog. It just keeps going. There is no end to the horror.
There's another term for it, and I can't remember the other term.
Yeah.
But
fair enough, fair enough. Vic is now back. Can we hear you properly now? Maybe not. Damn it. God, we spent most of the stream not talking to him so far, and now when we try to get to talk to him, he's dead.
Yeah.
Good for Vic.
Okay.
There we go. Audible.
How about now?
Hey, welcome back.
Hey.
I'm deleting literally every tab I have except this one.
That might have had something to do with it.
Maybe.
Yeah, you know what? You don't sound like GLaDOS anymore, so that's definitely an improvement.
Absolutely.
You should try deleting System 32. That should speed it up a little bit.
Oh, okay.
That's a horrible resource log.
Alright, so according to TV tropes, Shaggy Dog story is a plot with a high level of build-up and complicating action, only to be resolved with an anticlimax or an ironic reservoir, usually one that makes the entire story meaningless.
Oh, fair enough.
Yeah, it's
so
literally
it would be like the
joke
Buffalo story. The Buffalo story. Yeah.
The classic example is the one man finds a Shaggy Dog similar to one a lost dog poster from a rich family and bankrupts himself trying to return it to them in England for reward money. When he finally makes it there, he's told the dog wasn't that shaggy before the door slammed in his face. The end.
Oh.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
That's brutal.
Rip.
Yeah.
Rip that dude.
Oh my god. See also Gynax ending.
Oh, jeez.
Okay, anyway, what was Vic saying about Dark Grimdark?
Yes.
Okay, so...
Pun see fake hoots.
Fake hoot. That's the word I was thinking of.
That
Fake hoot.
maybe a red cop-out, which is a cartoon featuring Shaggy's dog. Not being confused with some Disney film.
Oh, fair enough. Right, Vic, tell us what you were going to say about grim and dark stuff, because you disappeared.
The point of Grimdark is that you're supposed to make the reader unfamiliar with what the thing that's supposed to be scary is going to happen, whether what is going to happen to the character. Because if everyone knows whatever is going to happen within the story, there is no Grimdark. It's just a very terribly written drama. So
there's no tension.
Yeah. The whole point of tension is rooted within unfamiliarity, so no one knows what's going to happen. So I think that that's the problem with Grimdark, is that you need to build it up and then let it go, and you could ruin the story at any point within that time. It's really easy to do.
Absolutely. And this is a thing with horror in general. Like, every single person on the planet has things that they find the scariest that other people may not necessarily find anywhere near as scary. For example, spiders. I think spiders are pretty cool. CV probably has a morbid fear of spiders because he lives in Australia. Other people have arachnophobia. You know, like, they're going to find it scary, and I'm not going to. So if it turns out that the evil monster is basically a giant spider, I'm going to be, oh, okay. Cool.
For me, it would be
I'd just like to clarify that while you made a pretty good assumption, I actually happen to be pretty blasé about spiders. Like, I saw a huntsman the size of my palm run into my room from under my door and slip under my bed a few weeks ago, and I was like, eh.
I mean,
So it's basically you've been so traumatized you're just burnt out.
Yeah, this is the other end of horror stories where it's gone on too long and the tension's just sort of died because nothing's happened.
So the end of Amnesia?
Yeah, pretty much.
With
he's just been throwing boxes around the place.
Where it was just, I don't care anymore.
Yeah,
It's
I think the other problem with grimdark stories is that there's not enough description, I feel. Like, the easiest way to ruin your grimdark story is to either have too much or too little description, or to have the entire thing be familiar. Like, those are the two things that I feel people ruin their stories with. Like, not even grimdark, just stories in general. Like, I can't count, actually, the amount of stories that lose me because they start in the first chapter with the biggest lore dump you will ever see in your life, and I'm pretty sure you guys would completely empathize with that.
Yeah.
Like, you love this idea, you love, like, the description of the story, and then you get into it, and it's like pulling teeth with how much they're trying to explain to you.
And they're all about how this house has been haunted for like 70 years, and you're 1,000 words in, and you haven't even met the main character. And it's just
which is in part when I feel strongly like about stories that try to be emotional, like usually grimdark, sad stories. They are much better off if they're written in the first person perspective, and you are able to see things from the protagonist's perspective.
Sometimes I'm not 100% sure first person is necessarily better, but it has to be more of a limited perspective. Third person
definitely limited, because if the person who is seeing the scary things happen knows they're coming ahead of time, then you know you've screwed up, and much clearer than it would have been if it was written in third person.
Or if it's just the audience knows, then that's an issue, because like the horror. The true horror comes from the unknown. This is what I was mentioning briefly earlier when I was talking about spiders. Like, everyone has their own different fears, but everyone will project these fears onto an unknown horror. Like, if there is something coming towards you and it's big and scary and stompy, everyone's going to imagine something different. So the minute you say it's a giant spider, some people are going to go, oh, that's not that scary.
In part, to build off of that, it would usually, a good story would usually have some setup before that, like might allude to there is a giant spider coming, but you haven't seen it yet, and you know it's somewhere, and it's the dread of not seeing the unknown. That is the most frightening aspect, not necessarily the giant spider itself.
All fear stems from the unknown sooner or later. It may take a little while to get there, but yeah, that's where it comes from.
It's not the idea that there's a giant spider in the house and it's coming for you, but it's the idea that the giant spider might already be in the bedroom watching you about to jump onto your face, and you have no idea.
You should probably check you should be checking your webcam right now, CV, just to make sure it's not behind your shoulder as we speak.
Nah, it's all right. I've got my evolution squad up the back. They'll protect me.
That's not a plus. Oh dear.
I think the one other thing that I'll add is that the interesting thing is that there is a possibility for there to be terrifyingness within familiarity. Like, I'm thinking of Madoka Magica and how the characters were terrified over the fact that they were now like souls. The demystification that you can have, like. In what basically happens is when they become magical girls, like, they get this ridiculous amount of power and everything, but because of that, they basically are hollow shells and souls that are inside of this MacGuffin in order to prevent them from dying so quickly. So, like, if you left that mysterious, it's kind of this thing where it's like you don't really know what happens, but there's the possibility for the...
Dead. Oh.
Oh, we lost him again.
Jesus Christ.
Location of this universe and like characters are in.
Yes, we heard all of that.
Okay.
Actually, we didn't.
I'm gonna turn my video off, see if that helps.
Yeah, maybe. But yeah.
Just continue. I was on a tangent.
No, it's kind of semi-related. I mean, it's sort of like taking the familiar and essentially making it a sort of an unvarnished truth that you can't deny is a horror in its own right. I mean, we sort of have this whole mystery about is there something greater out there and all that kind of stuff, and we have this whole denial about our mortality, and it's built into just about everything that people do in life.
Which is kind of the reason why Lovecraft is so powerful, because it's yes, there is something greater than you, but you will never be anything significant in it. Like there are things, amazing things can happen. They will never happen to you. You are too insignificant, and that's what Lovecraft is. God damn it!
I was just waiting for something else to notice and call it. I just figured I wouldn't say anything.
When did you?
I just realized I have a button on the Google Hangouts thing called Hide from Broadcast.
Oh no! Why?
No. Press the other button.
No.
There we go.
Oh, that mutes him too.
Oh, it does mute him automatically. Well, I brought him back, but he's still muted. Oh well.
Unmute, Pat.
Why would you lose all of the fans by hiding the one thing that they came to see, or rather?
How can you be so inconsiderate?
Yeah, I mean, I already turned my camera off. What else do they have to look at?
Really, I thought that was why more people tuned in.
This is true.
Barrett, you're so mean to me.
I know. I'm sorry, Vic.
Ratings continue to increase.
Yeah. Rip.
Have you show me on this?
God damn it, Pav. The Metaton song is not appropriate here.
Now the camera's off. I can cut myself.
Death by Glamour is not appropriate here.
I'd say it's highly appropriate.
Raz is dead. You have killed Raz. Core died a little while ago. I can only assume it was because he was the first of us to notice.
Oh shit, Raz is gone.
Yeah,
Raz
he just died.
Why?
He pulled a me.
Oh no. Jesus.
I'm still waiting, Pav. That's totally not what you said you'd show me on stream.
Oh god. Okay, hide from broadcast. Hide from broadcast.
Have we exhausted our talk about the horror stuff? Because weren't we going to answer some questions?
We do have some questions.
We do have some questions, absolutely, and we'll ask them as well.
The very first one, which we're taking like an hour to get to, but the very first one.
From Purple Pros.
Well, before that, Glimo actually asked, "What the hell are you guys talking about?" When we first started, and then mentioned that was a fulfilling prophecy as we lampshaded the fact that we wouldn't have any transition.
We just confused people. What were we talking about?
When we started up, we talked about WoW briefly, didn't we?
We were talking about games, pretty much.
Yeah, in general. Right. The first question we got from the actual podcast itself was from Pear, which was, how angry were you that Masuda lied to us about new Pokemon?
I was very
not
sad.
angry at all.
Pokemon ended in Gen 2.
I've never
But
played
dude,
Pokemon.
it's an ARG now, and it looks so cool.
Bold claim by Pav. I like the look of the Pokemon fighting game. I don't care enough about Pokemon in order to buy it.
But I'm not into fighting games.
Yeah, I don't care enough about Pokemon to actually get any Pokemon games at all. The last one I got was Heart Gold.
It depends
Yes,
on...
actually, Heart Gold is the last one that I played, and I'm thinking about getting Sun or Moon when Gen 7 comes out just to get back into it. But yeah, I haven't played it since Heart Gold. Like, was it 5-6 years ago?
Heart Gold. That's the remake of Gen 2.
Gen 2.
Isn't it?
Yeah, it is. I just want my main issue with the Pokemon series is it only occurs on consoles that I don't have, and I'm not willing to buy a console just to play Pokemon.
Yeah.
You know, that's a bit much.
That's kind of it.
I bought a console.
If I
just
bought
for
a Nintendo
Smash.
DS, I'd have Pokemon for it. Maybe the Monster Hunter 4 game, but then again, I'm not particularly huge on the idea of playing Monster Hunter on a handheld, and that would mostly be it. You know, maybe a Professor Wright game or a whatever, like the puzzle-solving games. Not Professor Wright.
Professor Wright.
Phoenix Wright and Professor Layton. Professor Layton.
There you
I was getting those two confused.
Which, in fairness, they did have the Professor Layton slash
Yeah.
Phoenix Wright crossover.
Yeah.
Professor
So, I mean, there was that.
Yeah.
So are they being shipped?
Yes.
Is my question.
Oh God, yeah.
Almost exclusively. Yes.
Oh, okay,
It
guys.
started.
If they're not being shipped, then something's gone wrong.
That's true.
Something was
I'd be
broken
very
down.
disappointed. I'd be disappointed in the internet if there isn't a. Well, here, let me look for Professor Layton porn picture.
Oh,
while you
Jesus.
do it.
Oh God, Professor Layton porn is a huge deal.
I would. I mean, I guess I would ship them. I'd probably be more of a Phoenix slash Edgeworth shipper myself. But
Yeah.
Of course.
Professor Layton versus Phoenix Wright, Rule 34. Okay, let's see.
Yeah, that's not asking for trouble in
Take
the
out the
slightest, is it?
verses, and you'll get more hits.
Nice. Right, so that's our thoughts on Pokemon.
we hope that this discussion of Professor Layton Rule 34 answered your Pokemon question.
Ah, nice segue, guys. Nice segue.
Right. Second question was from
Checkers
Post.
are shit.
Yes, they are really shit.
Yeah.
What
Sorry.
would be the nicest thing you would like to hear from a random member of FilmFiction.net? I want to hear Vic first on this.
Yeah. Come on, make it in. Let's hear it.
I would love to commission the rest of all your stories.
Yeah, take this large sum of money that I just have lying around.
I'm not even kidding. Like, I think 40% of my stories or something like that are unfinished, and that's counting the ones from 2012. So
Right.
Wow.
I would love to hear that. I'd quit my job just for that. I'd actually.
Oh,
just
you've got me thinking now. I
Can you
think I have
imagine?
about 30%.
Can you imagine, like,
I've got
at Christmas being like, "Oh yeah, I get paid to write about talking horses."
People do get paid
There's
to
people
talk
out there
about
who
writing
are,
books,
with their Patreons. They're making a living on horse words. Yeah.
They're making a bank.
Yeah.
Making bank.
I know, isn't D making like a decent amount?
D's making
Probably.
a decent amount, I think. There are other users who are making a scarily large amount of money on FimFic, but they're also surrounded by rumors of like donating to themselves to make the numbers seem bigger.
Self-inflation, to make it look like
Oh,
they've got
yeah.
more. Because if
About
you,
a lot of people with Patreons and things.
Yeah,
like
that's the general thing, isn't it? Like that, those rumors are going to fly no matter who is.
Yeah, it
the
doesn't matter what
Patreon
you're
person.
doing, you're always going to be accused of that.
Yeah.
I think the reason for that level of thinking is like whether they do it or not. People think they do that with the mentality that if someone is already seen to be getting a lot of money, they're likely to get more money just because of that fact. Because people see that they're getting a lot of money, therefore they must be worth supporting.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's kind of like
So-
it's like the mentality of the people who upvote to their own stories when they get published onto FimFic. Like they
Yeah.
expect people who come along to say, "Oh, this thing's got a couple of likes already. That means other people like it. I should go into this with a positive mentality," and they're more likely to like it for some reason. But yeah.
Unless your name's Ellie and you make 46 alts and upvote all your stories into the feature box.
I mean,
Jesus Christ, put your fucking camera back up.
That must have slipped. Oops.
Oh yeah, I've heard that excuse.
we already agreed that the box is inherently broken, so
I've used
I
it.
kind of conceded that fight back in
Oh, damn it,
2014.
Yeah, pretty much.
If you could just let it slip again, go on.
Oh no!
Focusing the camera on Archer's face. There we go. Right.
Okay.
So,
It's okay, Plum, he's wearing pants, or at least a belt.
He's wearing pants.
he's at least wearing a belt.
Plum confirmed for wearing pants.
Yeah.
I mean, let's tip this just a little bit, just to enhance.
We
the
have
mystique.
visual confirmation.
Rusty, you want to answer the question?
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. Arch, you're up next because you're next in the queue.
Oh, what the
What would you most like to hear from a random user on FimFic?
Oh God.
Other than here is large sums of money.
Yeah, I kind of.
That was going to be my first answer,
That's going to be a pretty universal choice.
I took an easy way out.
Yeah.
He took the easy option. Now you have to go for the hard road. So. Well, I can answer first. I would like to hear someone appreciate the staff members on FimFic, because nobody appears to do that.
Oh, yeah. I can easily see
I do.
I do.
Nobody ever says it.
do.
Nobody ever says it. This is like, because, like, I'm reminded of the day I got 19 death threats from one user in the space of one afternoon.
Yes.
Yeah, nobody sent me 19 messages saying that I'm a cool person so far, so, you know.
Well, that's because we tell you that in all the chats. We don't need to tell you on Facebook too, do we? Jesus.
I know exactly what I'd like to hear.
Go on then.
I tell you
like
what,
your version of Derpy best.
Solid.
I did used to always send reply PMs to the story approvers saying thank you for approving my story before they started saying this is automated, you don't have to reply, but you can if you want.
Yeah.
I did always used to do it. I used to be like, oh my god, thank you so much to every single story approver.
The thing about saying thanks for your story being approved is, at the end of the day, it's to us at least, it's kind of like you're being a little bit selfish. Maybe that's the wrong word for it, but it's like, thanks for not stopping me from doing this thing I want to do.
Well, like, because I'm someone who would do that too, and from my standpoint, it was, I know this is bitch work, so thank you for doing bitch work on my behalf.
Right, that's something I can appreciate more. Yeah, we do get 1 or 2 of those, but I think I've literally only received 2 of those since I've started working on FimFic, and I get like anywhere between 3 and a dozen PMs a day now because of this stuff. So yeah, but yeah, so some appreciation for the site staff in general, not just me personally, but like Meester and D and Obs and all that shit. That would be fantastic.
I think I remember saying that Obs was okay, so.
Rare praise.
Fantastic. Right.
If anything, he does have the most magnificent beard.
Yes.
Lies. True lies.
No,
right.
nothing but
CV.
truth.
Not even
You're
true.
not a true believer if you cannot see the mighty beard.
None can. None can, because it's not fucking there. CV, what would you most like to hear?
Your story, A Sensitive More, has been chosen to be featured by the Royal Canterlot Library.
Beautiful.
I'd laugh if that happened now.
Beautiful. Pav, pull your camera up, and then what would you like to hear in a PM?
So mine is cheating because I've heard this one before, but
Oh, really?
you know, I know because I've heard it. You know, it's just like, oh, it's so sweet. If it's something like a crossover or something like a ship or something like that, you know, where that is like some sort of, you know, external material that the enjoyment hinges on, getting that compliment of, you know, I'm not familiar with the crossover source, or I usually don't ship that pair, but after reading your story, like, I'm convinced. Like, I would have gone.
In Captain Chrysalid's situation, I've never played WoW, but now you've got me hooked. Fuck you, you've ruined my life. Sort of.
Or brain in a jar circumstance.
Yeah, similar sort of thing.
I mean, that's the nicest thing I've heard a WoW player say.
Yeah, pretty much. What would you like to hear then, Ferret?
See, I'm kind of with Pav because most of what I can think I've already heard, and I feel really arrogant saying that, but I think it's also just I have really low standards maybe. Like, I've already had, you know, I approve a fic on EKD and the author messages me to go, thank you so much, I'm so happy to be in it. And I've already had, like, an author I really look up to go, hey, do you want to help me edit this fic? And in one case, you know, Horizon messaged me and said, hey, I love this little short fic you wrote about, you know, why a sheep has the name he does. I want to feature it in my story collection. Is that okay? And it was just kind of like, yes? How the hell do you know who I am?
How does anyone not know who you are, Ferret?
Yeah,
I'm so baffled people know me in the first place, dude.
Aggressively likable Canadian.
Damn, Skippy.
You should put
You're
that
just
as
jealous
your...
because you didn't get maple candy last year. I'll bring more.
I mean,
Well, to be fair, Ferret, you didn't get tablet, so.
Huh?
You didn't get tablet, which I brought.
I know. I was very disappointed.
I know, extremely
That's
disappointed.
okay. I've also discovered one of the local sex stores has maple flavored condoms.
Well,
just extra Canadian. I couldn't believe it the other day. I
this
was
is
there and they went,
extremely
"Hey,
Canadian.
maple flavored condoms in." I'm just kind of what?
The
So-
brand just
I
the
feel
brand
like I
needs
should
to
be
be called I'm
surprised, but
sorry.
okay.
I'm tempted to actually to bring some of those along next time. Next time on BronyCon, so I can just take them home and just wave them at people.
I know, that's
I
what I
don't know.
said. I was like, oh my god, I feel like I need to bring these everywhere and hand them out anytime I leave the country.
I mean, they won't be
I don't know.
I
used.
don't know if you're getting any, but I have some.
Very sorry, but would you like one of these? Sorry.
I don't know what I would like better, the maple flavored condom, or online I've seen the bacon flavored personal lubricant.
Oh,
Oh
right.
wow. See, I don't know. I think you have to like combine them.
Maple
Ooh.
bacon. Maple bacon. Yeah.
You get some eggs in there somewhere, and you got like the breakfast theme going. Yeah.
Someone get on that.
Someone get on the full English breakfast sex kit. You
Play your
know,
own
we've got a
sausage.
mushroom.
Yeah.
You know, grilled tomato, mushroom. Maybe that's taking it a bit far.
Blood
Mom, is that a side-in print behind you?
Is that a what? What?
Is that a side-in print? The Gilda one?
The Gilda with a
Brayburned.
laser pointer?
Brayburned.
Rayburn, that's what it was.
Yes.
I knew it was one of them. One of the
And it
big
is-
three.
It is signed by them. I've got a wall of pony over there. Like, just
Yeah.
a menagerie of things. And I've also got Z Captain, Middle-earth, and more pony over there. I've
God,
got
you-
even more pony fucking posters that I still haven't bothered putting up yet, so...
You're a terrible
I'm gonna do
person,
that.
obviously.
I know. I'm horrible. We do have more questions. Moving on from the maple condom stuff, let's talk about everyone's favorite dessert. Ferret, is your favorite dessert maple related by any chance?
I have to say my favorite dessert is butter tarts, which
Butter
is another
tarts?
Canadianism.
What on earth is a butter tart?
Butter tarts are amazing. So you make tart pastry and then you literally just fill it with like caramelized sugar and butter and raisins and pecans. Then you just bake it in an oven.
That sounds American.
Good luck. Yeah.
Yeah, no, they're very Canadian and they're amazing. I will. Well, I'm driving down, so I could potentially bring some.
Interesting.
Oh yes, do it. Do it. I will eat them.
Attempt to.
Pam, favorite dessert? Let's go.
Probably chocolate lava cake.
Ooh, yeah. That's
Yeah.
yummy.
Really solid. How's about you, CV? Am I to assume fairy bread?
Wow.
Who doesn't love fairy
That
bread?
was my favorite when I was 5 years old, but no. No, my favorite dessert. My favorite dessert is actually rather something pretty boring. Just chocolate ice cream is good.
Boo. You don't love Golden Gay Time? Ugh, disappointed in you. You're not Australian enough for us anymore. There we go.
He's upside
Not
down.
Australian enough. His favorite foods aren't Promite and Golden Gay Time.
And no Vegemite.
I'm trying so hard not to be vocal about something because I know it's the sort of thing people like, oh, you're so militant, so I'll just leave it at that. There's a reason I didn't elaborate.
I think I can guess what it might be.
I have no idea. Oh, is this Vegemite versus Marmite?
No, it's nothing to do with elitism, just carry on.
Both are equally disgusting.
Oh, harsh
I'm
words.
fighting words with the English and the Aussies.
Yeah,
Right?
I like. I've got to admit, I love this advert that was on TV a few years ago.
God.
Oh, rip. CV is coming to fuck you up, Vic. That's what.
Oh, God.
You're in trouble now. Run, boy.
Swear me mum.
He got the flight ticket. He's like, I'm going to fuck you up in 26 hours.
Oh my
No,
god.
he's coming to BronyCon. He might be in
This is
trouble.
true. This is true. He'll be
Oh,
walking on
shit.
the ceiling. He'll drop from the ceiling like the famous drop bears.
Yeah, exactly.
But yeah, like there was an advert that ran on British TV a couple of years ago, and it was absolutely, well, I found it hilarious. Where it was like it takes place in a city, and people are running screaming because there's this giant like gloopy monster that's absorbing everything, and it's just being horrible. And then a handful of people are like, that actually looks kind of nice, and they all just dive into it, and then the words Marmite just appear on the screen. It's like,
Yeah,
Yeah.
That's pretty good.
fair enough.
Very nice, very nice.
Jeez. Come on
Welcome
in.
back.
Favorite dessert?
What?
Spotted dick, right?
Me?
That's all right. Is that Vegemite on toast by any chance? Or just Vegemite on bread?
No,
Marmite on
it's
toast
Vegemite
is
on
pretty
bread.
solid. I'm gonna.
Yeah, it is pretty solid.
You all have no
People and your
fucking
lack
taste.
of taste buds, Jesus.
You all have no taste. None whatsoever.
Wait, was it my turn now?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Right. My favorite dessert is actually one I made up myself.
Ooh.
I know.
Arch Insider
Fancy.
Secrets.
It's basically you make pancake mix, English pancake mix, which is just eggs and flour and milk.
Mm-hmm.
And then you add a load of bicarbonate of soda to it,
Mm-hmm.
and you leave it overnight to go whoosh like that.
Right.
And then you just pour the whole lot into a frying pan,
Mm-hmm.
and it sits there and bubbles and turns into like a giant scone. So
Right.
it's got those tubes
Ooh,
going
that'd
through
be
it,
interesting.
scone tubes,
Yeah.
or whatever you want to call them. And then you
This
pour
sounds like
honey all
something you created by accident and decided was okay.
I thought about this one. I actually thought about how to make this one because I'd heard of something, and I thought, I'm going to try and make that. I have no idea what it looks like, no idea what it's made from, but I'm going to make it anyway. So yeah, anyway, you got your pancake mix, bicarbonate soda, leave it on that. Put it in the pan so it turns into like a giant scone. Pour honey all over it, flip it over, and then when the fire alarms have stopped beeping, you eat it. It tastes gorgeous, but it makes a mess.
Sounds like it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll bet.
And I called it a honey thing.
The honey thing.
Yeah,
Fair
that's
enough.
It's really
appropriate.
nice. I used
Talking
to.
Write her
about
name
dessert
right
you make
there.
in the frying pan, I'll go with French toast made with leftover birthday cake.
Oh man.
That's good.
Oh man.
That's literally one of those things you can only have like once a year because it's so rich.
Otherwise, diabetes.
Even
You're
then,
risking it anyway,
diabetes
yeah.
will ensue.
Mm-hmm.
Guys, there's something about my piece of bread with Vegemite on it that you might not have noticed about first glance.
Uh-huh.
Do you know what this
Right.
is?
I'll just focus you on.
You know what that is?
I don't want to ask.
Is it some sort of seed?
It's a raisin.
It's a raisin. Oh,
Vegemite on raisin bread?
Or is it
You-
Vegemite with raisins?
you are a strange man.
He's Australian.
Oh yeah, that's true. Fair enough. Vic,
His
favorite
Australian
dessert.
really does say a lot.
I don't like that much sugary stuff,
Mhm.
but I really like a good cookie or a good pumpkin pie. Like
Yeah.
both of those that are made like really, really well. I love that shit. I'll lap that up.
Mhm.
Oh, definitely.
If we're going for non-sugary stuff, then I'm absolutely I adore like vegetable samosas and stuff like that. I will just pick one up
Oh,
my
yes.
God,
house
yeah.
with it.
I love samosas.
But if we're going for like traditional dessert style things, I think I'm gonna have to go with American style pancakes with like maple syrup.
Yeah,
Like,
those
I
are
do
good.
enjoy British pancakes, and I do eat them on Pancake Day, on Shrove Tuesday. However, American style pancakes, there's just something about them that is actually kind of addicting.
It's because it's almost like eating cake.
Yeah.
in
They're
a
just
way.
so soft and so fluffy.
But you're not allowed to pour maple syrup on a cake normally, so.
Yeah.
Not for me.
Come to Canada.
Yay!
Maple syrup on friggin' everything.
Aye.
We even have a dessert called sugar pie.
I've also seen that you sometimes just pour it in the snow and then roll it up on a stick.
Mm.
Just maple
Sugar
syrup.
pie sounds like a pony that could be related to Pinky.
Deliciously related, no less. Cannibalism.
Yay.
Oh, now I can only think of those food ponies, like the pizza pony and the Coca-Cola pony.
Oh yeah, the Coca-Cola pony.
I just remember reading like some fic with the pizza pony where Piggy is a food pony and they like consume each other.
Was her name Pizza Pie?
No, I don't think
she
she ever had a name. And
Yeah.
it wasn't
Sounds like
even
more.
mature. It's really
Yeah.
surreal.
There's
It
another one
kinda
that's
was,
basically
but it kinda
a donut
wasn't.
with donut sprinkles and that
Does
icing.
cannibalism count as vor? This is the real question.
I think it probably
depends
does.
if
Yeah.
you're eating them all at once while they're still alive.
No, it depends on how
Oh.
much they get off on it, really. That's the
True.
difference, I feel. Right. One last question, rapid fire question before we go and talk about season 6, episodes 1 and 2. Favorite dog? Yeah, 5 seconds. Mine's the
Irish
border
setter.
Irish setter. Pav, favorite
German
dog.
Shepherd.
Okay, there's CV's favorite dog. Pav, favorite dog.
Doggo from Undertale.
Fair enough. Art, favorite dog.
Lesser dog.
The Diamond Dogs.
The Diamond. Oh, are we talking
Which
David
one?
Bowie, Metal
Bowie?
Gear, or My Little Pony?
All
Yes.
of them.
Yes.
The Venture Brothers.
All of them's the correct answer.
Yeah, they're all the
Venture
correct.
Brothers.
Venture Brothers, yeah.
Vic, favorite dog?
In like media or in general?
Either
In
or.
general.
Go for it.
Just dogs.
The
Pick a dog.
dog
Pick a dog.
that I had to leave when I moved.
Oh.
Jeez, way to
That
bring the
was
mood
sad.
down.
Yeah, right?
But what breed was it?
Miniature pincher chihuahua mix, really small thing.
Oh.
Stop that.
Fair enough.
Damn it, Vic.
Yeah,
Right.
there's your mood killer for the day.
So now that
I'm
we're all
gonna need
sad,
a bag
let's talk
of
about the new
Vicodin after this.
episode.
Oh, hang on.
Yeah,
King
I
of
say,
Beggars
now that we're all
commented on it
sad,
first.
let's talk about something else.
Oh yeah, we've got a question from King of Beggars relating to the news, the first couple of episodes. So let's talk about the episodes first. I'm gonna say I liked it.
Yeah.
It's pretty good.
I liked it. It was good fun. Sunburst is awesome. I want to see more of him. I love seeing ponies with like traditional markings, like the blaze on his face and
Yes.
stuff.
And then like the sock like markings that
Yeah,
he had on his
the
legs.
sock.
Yeah.
Yeah, I want to see more of that.
Mm-hmm.
Hmm.
But also, Sunburst himself was just really cute.
He was.
Yeah.
He was adorable.
The voice
Yeah.
actor was so good.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, the VA was great.
I'm gonna say
And
I
oh
don't.
my God, Twilight's parents finally got to talk.
Yeah,
Yes.
he got voices.
Yes! And they
Hooray!
like I imagined them.
Yes.
Yeah.
And they were
This is
voiced by their
And,
kids.
it was a nice touch. It's a nice touch that they're voiced by Shining Up by Andrew Francis and Tara Strong.
Yeah.
Nice, actually. I didn't know that.
And they
Yeah,
didn't
Yeah,
sound
pretty
like
cool.
Shining
I'm-
Armor and Twilight, so.
Yeah, true
Yeah.
enough. I'm going to say it wasn't my favorite season opener. Like, Discord still claims that, without a doubt.
Yeah, Discord
But
is
it
still
was-
the
oh, yeah.
best.
It was still a really solid opener, and it's...
Yeah.
It kind of, like, I will freely admit, at the end of Season 5, I did have some concerns about what direction Season 6 was going to go in.
Yeah.
So far, it seems pretty alright. I mean,
Yeah, so far it feels pretty solid.
Mhm.
I think
And
that they did
I'll-
a really good job selling Starlight Glimmer because, especially in light of all of her crazy reaction faces in that episode.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
So expressive.
I've seen so many people just saying, "Oh, she's Sunset Shimmer" without the character development.
Mm.
No. I'd say
Yeah,
she's
those-
got more than that.
Yeah.
At the very least,
She's
I
more than
loved her relationship with Spike. Like,
Yes.
I really
Yeah.
Spike
like, I think
wasn't...
they're
It's an
I
episode
think
where
that's considered the
Spike
strongest
wasn't
part of the
shit.
episodes, really.
Spike wasn't shit. How can we not overstate this enough? Spike wasn't shit, and he had more than 5 minutes of screen time. This is
Because he wasn't
amazing.
focused on.
Well,
Yeah,
no.
and he wasn't even the focus character. He did so well, and I think most people think that's the strongest part of the premiere is
Yeah, he
Spike's
does
and
really well as
Starlight's
a
interaction.
backup.
Yeah,
Well,
they
that's
were
really-
brilliant together. That's the thing.
I don't think he was. I don't think it's fair to say he wasn't the focus. Like Sunset and Spike as a two were the focus
Yeah,
for at
they
least
were
a third
definitely
of
a
the
focus
episode.
in quite a bit.
Mhm.
But
Like,
he wasn't. He didn't have to carry the whole thing by himself,
No,
which I think is
absolutely.
when he really struggled.
Yeah.
If
absolutely.
anything, it shows that the writers really write him well when they put him in a supporting role. And I think
Yeah.
these people who want him to become a main character, it's really not. It doesn't work so much for him.
He doesn't have enough yet to be a main character on his own.
No.
Children characters are really hard to have as main characters in a world
Yeah.
where the main focus of these episodes are emotional problems that Spike usually doesn't have to deal with because of his
Yeah.
age.
I will
That's the
like.
problem.
Spike is unusual in that he's a very a lot of the time he's a very mature child.
Yeah.
Actually,
Yes,
quite cynical.
but
Yeah.
he still doesn't have to deal. Spike doesn't have to deal with the societal pressures and tendencies that all of these other characters have by just being friends and being heroes of the community.
Like there are
Spike
times
is-
when Spike is confronted by something and he decides not to deal with it and spends all day eating ice cream. You know.
Yeah,
Yeah.
the funny thing is that I feel that Spike fans look at Spike the same way that the Crystal Empire looks at Spike.
Oh.
Yeah. In a
Oh my
way.
God, he's a hero. He can do no
My
wrong.
hero.
He had 5
Yes,
minutes
like-
in the spotlight, therefore he's our hero, sort of thing. you
Spike
know?
saved them once because he was told to, and now everyone is like, he's a hero, he can do everything. And Spike is like, I'm just an assistant, guys.
Yeah.
I'm a little kid. Please stop.
Yeah.
I'm 12, and what is this?
Yeah, pretty much. I like the fact that the season 1 and 2 featured Flurry Heart as basically the antagonist.
Yeah.
It's a kind of
that
weird
was
way to phrase it,
fantastic.
but it's like the episode didn't immediately make them out to be a really amazing character. Like, yeah, she's powerful, and we still have no idea why she's an Alicorn. But I'm willing to bet that's going to be explained at some point because we had world building. Because now we know Celestia and Luna weren't born Alicorns; they became Alicorns.
Yeah. I was like flipping out during that part, and it's like, oh,
world building, guys.
Wait, what?
Whatever.
I didn't.
Oh man, the amount of arguments I've seen in places about this and how the wording of this is something Equestria has never seen, and people are like, just give it to rest, guys. Come on.
Let's accept that your headcanon is now wrong and move on. Plum, awesome thing. There's going to be dragons.
Yeah.
And world building.
And it won't be fucking Dragon Town either.
Also, the fact that Celestia and Luna played a part in an episode that wasn't revolving around, like, Princess Celestia and Luna being princesses or whatever, like, they were supporting characters in a regular episode, sort of.
Yeah. I like
is
that they've been willing to use them like that more, you know? I mean, they did that for the wedding as well.
Speaking of them being supporting characters, when they're, orchestrating the plan at the very end of the episode, and, we're like, okay, you go here, you go there. Twilight kind of gave them orders? Like, she's like...
Ooh, growth.
Well, they've already agreed that they're equals last season.
Yeah,
it's easy to say that,
but this is like... treat it like that.
This is very concretely... We are equals, and,
We are equals, but you're better than me.
Well, we are equals, she knows this particular domain.
Well, I feel that we're not very convinced
her
about
knowledge in this area.
We're not really convinced about it because Twilight's not convinced about it. I think that's the thing.
That was the thing, yeah. Absolutely.
I think that no matter how strong or well learned with the world Twilight becomes, she is still always going to consider Celestia her superior. Even if they lived for 100 or 1,000 or 10,000 years, she will never consider herself up to Celestia's level.
It's her idol.
Yeah, that's quite possible. But I just want to post this thing because I mentioned it earlier. There's this pony who I noticed in the Crystal Empire. I posted a screenshot I took in the Hangout chat.
Oh yes, I saw her, Cutie Mark.
Yes, there is a mare whose Cutie Mark is literally a donkey.
She's got an ass on her ass.
Arch.
With some floral wreaths.
Yeah, it's a donkey with laurel wreaths around it, and I'm just like, yeah, Arch needs to know if he doesn't already.
Yeah.
Arch, I would appreciate it if you didn't say the word ass in this chat. This is a PG. This is a
no,
PG
it's not. No, it's not.
That's a nice fantasy you got there. Good luck with that.
PG, Pabs Ginger. Yeah, Pabs Games even.
Pabs Games.
Pabs Gams, of course. Pabs Gams, how could we forget? It is leg day after all.
Yeah, exactly. Come on, Pab.
Flex fellas, Pab.
Oh yes.
Yes. There was the gentleman. There was the gentleman who had 6 moustaches at once next to this old lady Tony.
Oh yes.
There's something really cool I noticed about him. He wasn't a crystal pony.
Was he?
No. So if you look at the eye shine, the smaller eye circle for the crystal ponies, it's actually like a hexagon.
Yes. Oh yeah, you can see it in the screenshot I took.
Yeah, you can
just see the one eye.
So I didn't even notice that. Tachion's actually the one who pointed that out to me, which I thought was really cool.
That's a detail I've never seen.
Oh,
I did notice that before actually, but I never noticed that he didn't have the little circle ID. Do you reckon it's intentional, or do you reckon it's just that they forgot to give him the hexagon?
At this point, the amount of detail they've been putting into the backgrounds of these episodes, I think it's actually intentional.
Yeah, I was inclined to think it was intentional because I don't think he ever had the eye shine.
No.
So I think it was specifically to his puppet. He didn't have that.
Maybe.
Consider also the fact that the Crystal Empire has now been back in Equestria for a significant time. You could presumably see tourists coming to attend this.
The Friendship Express does
like a tourist.
Yeah.
And if anything, all the ponies lining up to see the crystalline look like a bunch of congoers.
Yeah, they definitely very
There was a guy who had like a Twilight Sparkle badge on a jacket.
Yeah.
Oh my
Groping
God.
pony.
I saw that and I immediately thought of Jake the Army guy.
Yeah, we'll just have a pony with a plushie on his shoulder next episode. That's what's going to
Yeah,
happen.
exactly.
$40,
Really buff-looking.
$40 for a Flurry Heart autograph.
No, no.
Yeah.
Right, we do have a couple of questions from King of Beggars from the thread that we posted. What's the consensus on the new hotness in Spike shipping? I, for one, welcome this new age of Spike x Starlight and eagerly await the Sparity NTR fanfics to come. Not because I like NTR, but because I think it would be... What's NTR?
Neta Rare?
Not teenage romance?
I have
No, it's
No
basically
idea.
cheating.
Oh, infidelity.
Yeah.
Okay, fair enough.
So the point of Neta Rare is that it was popular in hentai, and it's basically a dude who gets it on with a girl who's already like dating someone, and she submits to the guy and like says he's better than the person she's with, and then eventually
So
she
it's
like dumps
cuckold
that guy.
then.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's basically
Okay.
cuckolding.
I understood everything at it's a hentai thing. Like, okay, fair enough.
Yeah, it's a hentai thing. Oh, okay, never mind. That makes sense.
It's like when you
Also
say
says-
To me, it was pure friendshipping.
Yeah,
Like
this
to me,
also
the
explains
impression I
something
got
about
was
King of
just that
Beggars.
they were friends.
Yeah.
I mean, they probably have rooms next to each other. You know, Spike could always go
Oh,
Hulk.
Spike. Well, this is where the shipping begins. You know, Starlight was repeatedly barging in on Spike while he was getting changed, isn't it?
Oh my God.
This is our Pav moment right now.
Should I
Yeah,
just write
so-
that, get into the box, and then hang myself the next day?
I have to say, you know, I mean, I don't mean to play against my type here, but I do think it was more of a friendship thing. I think that they did a really good job in this episode, and I'd like to see where they go with this, of having those parallels of, you know, the Twilight and Celestia relationship with then, you know, comparing that to the Twilight and Starlight friendship, and having Starlight getting along with Spike and like all of those analogs.
Absolutely.
I think that Spike has the potential to be her actual best friend because of the close proximity that she and Spike both have to Twilight.
Oh, God, yeah.
I'd definitely be okay with Spike being well, he'd be taking a more active role in the series, which is, you know, that's interesting. But he wouldn't be taking the reins. He wouldn't be the main character. He'd be a supporting character in all these episodes, and that I've got absolutely no problem with. That would be
The one interesting little tidbit is that Starlight Glimmer was using her manipulation in the premiere to have
that was
Spike
really cool.
basically explain, to basically waste time. And I thought that was really interesting because it shows how she was basically reformed, but she's still able to use what she has
She's
built
still
up
able
the
to sort
entire
of
time.
backslide a little.
Yeah,
that's
Just like when Discord was reformed.
She's better. She's not perfect.
Yeah.
Well,
Also,
I'm not saying that that's
I think it
a
was
bad thing.
Drake. I think it was Drakey C who pointed out the fact that every time we've seen a popcorn bucket in the show, all the way from season 1 to season 6, it's been the exact same popcorn bucket.
Also,
probably.
it's been held by a villain.
That's the point.
Yeah.
So here's another awesome thing that people may not have noticed.
Mm-hmm.
In the train scene, if you look in the background, there's a changeling flying past.
Yes. That was.
Yeah.
How cool is that?
Yes.
So
I
that-
didn't see
For
it,
those of
but
you who don't go to Equestria Daily on the day of the episodes, we do post interesting shit.
I've just seen that stuff all over Facebook with you know, Brony related Facebook sites and that they've been posting that sort of stuff. So
Yeah,
I hardly miss a trick.
And like
So
as soon as the weekend ban rolled around, like basically every Skype chat I run or am in has like a ban on spoilers until the weekend of the episode has finished.
Yeah.
And immediately, like Monday, in basically every single chat I'm in, someone posted, "Oh my God, there's a changeling," and it's okay, fair enough. That's kind of cool.
Yeah, which I thought was pretty cool.
Yeah.
Finale.
And there'll always be someone who complains about spoilers even when the spoiler-free period is up, though.
Yeah. I mean, there are situations where it's a kind of a dick move. Like, if someone is planning to watch Terminator 2 tomorrow, even though it's been out for like 20 years, 30 years, or whatever, it's still a dick move to go and spoil that
Oh
movie.
God,
Yes.
no! You remember when Star Wars: The Force Awakens was out?
Yeah.
Oh God.
I went to that with my my wife and my parents, right?
Mm-hmm.
And we sat and we enjoyed it and watched it. And then on the way out, my mother pulled a Homer Simpson by very loudly announcing,
Oh, I
"Well,
didn't
passing
expect
back
this
to
to happen.
Q, I can't believe Han Solo." Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Mm.
Oh
Yeah.
dear.
Arch, your mum's a dick.
Yeah. I'm sure she's a really sweet woman, but yeah, that's a dick thing.
What you do there is you pretend not to be related. You walk in a different direction.
Yeah. Like, I don't know who she is. Oh.
This
She's
is the
so-
point where you.
That
This is the
drive
point where
home.
you. This is the point where you make an even more absurd like statement, like, "Yeah, and I can't believe Luke Skywalker was a pile of ants all this time." Like,
Yeah, true enough.
Darth Vader came back from the dead and actually
Yeah.
was the good guy again.
I can't believe Stephen Colbert is the Emperor.
Oh god.
Character building moments.
He was bringing the best of America.
Dude, I would, if that happened, I would buy another ticket and openly masturbate in the theater.
And you would get kicked out immediately.
Fucking worth it.
Worth it.
Yeah, no, my mum can be a bit of a troll sometimes.
But yeah, like spoilers in general, like I said, every chat I run, or most of the ones I'm in at least, have a spoiler ban until the weekend of the episode is up, which seems like a decent courtesy because not everyone's American and can watch it live. Not everyone can watch it like on a live stream as it's going up, and not everyone can even find the time of day during the day it goes live to watch it. You know, it gives people a chance to see it. So, but well.
I agree.
Well.
Question? Any
So
more
we have
questions?
another question from King of Beggars. Hold on, Vic. You think Spike isn't emotionally mature enough to have a friendship problem? And yet we've got like a dozen CMC episodes. Kids have friends too, yo.
The important distinction is that Spike doesn't have any friends.
Oh
That's half of
shit, son.
Pav says while having Spike as his avatar.
Well, the other half, that's half of it, and the other half of the problem is that if I mean, we've already seen it in the Pets episode. Whenever Spike is like, whenever Spike's near the Cutie Mark Crusaders, he's the blunt honesty that he is with the other main six.
Mm-hmm.
So like, if the Cutie Mark Crusaders are like, "Hey, I'm gonna build a rocket to get a rocket cutie mark and everything," Spike is like, "It's gonna blow up, right?" And then like, there goes 22 minutes. I think that's the main problem with like Spike is that he has this type of blunt honesty that makes him a mini Applejack, and the only friends that he have are like they want to make those type of problems Twilight and Applejack episodes, and also we're in like season 5 at this point.
Yeah.
I think that
a good point to do. Go ahead.
The main issue I have is I never really enjoyed any of the Cutie Mark Crusader episodes. Babseeds was okay. Aside from that, I found myself cringing way too hard at basically every CMC episode, and to this day, I've not seen most of them for more than 5 minutes.
Well, I think they're written for the demographic, kind of like a Slice of Life is written for our demographic.
Oh, Jesus Christ, I couldn't watch Slice of Life either, so, I just can't watch anything. I'm just a snob. This is what we're learning here.
Well, you're British.
You don't watch the show. You don't write fanfic. What the fuck are you doing here, man?
This is confirmed.
You know what?
I've never watched MLP. At all. Not once.
I wouldn't say you're as
poser.
much as a snob. You're not as much as a snob as those people who are like, "Oh, the show's been ruined since season 2."
Oh dear.
God.
Let's not get started on all
Yes,
that.
because at least you've been consistent.
There we go.
Yeah. This is
Yet
like
4 years later, for some reason, I'm still here. I can't move on.
MLP was
Oh
never
my
good.
god, yes.
Ooh.
There we go.
But no,
like,
I think it's interesting, like that you compared Spike and Applejack, because I was thinking the same thing that we were talking about. Oh, Spike doesn't really hold his own when he's when it's primarily a Spike episode, but he plays really well when he's a supporting member. I think that happens a lot with Applejack too. Is that when it's just an Applejack episode, they kind of struggle to do it, but when it's an Applejack and Rarity episode or an Applejack and Rainbow Dash episode, like when she has someone to play against, that's where her strengths come out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's happening with Spike a lot.
Well, the two good Applejack episodes are the two ideas that you can never repeat ever. So there's Applebuck season, and we're in season 5 now, so you can't really repeat that. You can only have that be a plot point for other episodes. and the other one is Super Speedy Cider Squeezy 6000. And the main lesson of that was she didn't learn anything.
Yeah.
This is true.
That was the best episode.
So
like, there were
I like the
definitely
one with Silver Shield where she got her honesty key. I did like that one though.
I didn't think that was a really good episode.
I like that one because it had so much Granny Smith in it.
Yeah, Granny Smith is great fun.
Yeah, Granny Smith is definitely really fun.
I liked it because it had Flim and Flam, and they're my favorites.
Flim and Flam are pretty good.
This is true. Are we expecting a return of Flim and Flam at some point?
I hope so.
I don't think this season.
I'm hoping for a return of Trixie.
That would be cool. We haven't heard anything.
Actually, already returned though. Like,
yes, I want her back again.
Can she return?
I
want to see them. I want to see some of the main cast, if they go to Manhattan again, or they go to somewhere like Las Pegasus. Actually, go to a performance where she's performing, where she's under a different stage name or something, maybe, and they go, "Oh, look, there's a new magician in town. They're all the rage. Let's go and see this new magician." And it just turns out to be Trixie under a different stage name, and then they could catch up with her, find out what she's been doing for the last 3 seasons, and how life has changed for her.
But then the episode turns into main attraction 1.2, the patch update.
They nerfed shamans again, yeah.
Oh dear. Oh no, we've killed him.
Uh-oh.
Yeah.
That hit me way harder than it should have.
One person got it. There we go.
Don't say. We've murdered Wicked in our now.
Oh dear. Right, so yeah, I'd definitely be okay with them bumping into Trixie in that sort of situation, but I feel like Trixie coming back to Ponyville again would be a bit
Yeah, that would be a little tired.
Yeah.
They have to be somewhere else, doing her own thing.
I think that the best thing at this point is for them to go out and bump into other people. Like, they'd go out and bump into Gilda, and they'd ask, "Hey, how's Griffinstone going?" And she said, "You should go either it's great or it's horrible or."
I'm sure she'd be meh.
But she wouldn't just do her standard screw up losers.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, the interesting disconnect that I feel that this universe has is that this universe is built entirely on the entropy of the world. Like, the world is never going to be perfect. Like, that was the entire point of Season 1, is that this is a really neat world that is occasionally, just attacked by stuff, or, like, damaged by stuff. So you have this hard thing where you don't want to repeat episodes, but at the same time you want to show the eventual, like, building back up and the management of the world that's slowly deconstructing around you. But I don't really feel that anyone like notices that, because like if you have another episode with Gilda and Gilda's like, "Oh, Griffinstone is fucked, I need you to fix it," everyone is going to be like, "This is just a Season 5 episode again," and then like I get triggered.
Hashtag triggered. Rip. But yeah, like there's always I think that's an issue that's not just unique to this show. Like, there's always an issue with shows where basically no show's universe is going to be perfect so long as the audience is older than like 3 years old. Maybe if you're
so
watching
long as they keep making money.
Yeah, sure enough. But like most shows, the universe is never going to be perfect, and like most shows are very wary of retreading ground. You know, like this one in like. I'm trying to think of if we've had any episodes that are basically repeats of previous ones, and I can't think of any off the top of my head.
I know we've had like 2 at least, but I can't think of.
Except for CMC episodes and Fluttershy episodes. Basically, every single Fluttershy episode is the exact goddamn same, where it's just her learning to be assertive again.
Well,
or at least to not be scared.
I disagree.
Really?
I was gonna say, yeah. Go on.
I disagree in the way that that's a type of generality that can be applied to pretty much everything else. Like, Rarity just learns how to not... Like, Ferret was talking about this, like, in the first hour, is that, you know, characters are learning... Rarity's not learning how not to be a stuck-up bitch. Twilight is learning how not to be just the most objective type of book-learning person ever. Like, that was the whole point of her friendship lessons, is that you can't apply objectivity in book learning to making friends. So, like, I think, like, you're true. You're you're right. But at the same time, I feel that that's the wrong question to be asking. The question is whether it's different enough of a spin to where this type of empathetic friendship problem does not feel like too much of a retread. Because there's so many different ways that you can learn how to be not only, quote, assertive, but, quote, stand up for yourself, or, quote, how to not have your generosity be taken advantage of, kind of like the dress episode in Season 1 and the Manhattan episode in Season 4, Rarity Takes Manhattan. Those are the same lesson, kind of, but different spins on it.
Then perhaps my criticism is that I feel that like Fluttershy's spins on this lesson are too similar to each other.
Well, I think
the problem is that
frustration is that people look at it, they say, oh, she's learned to not be assertive, so she should be Flutter bold for every season beyond here. And the point that she brings up at the end of every episode is, look, you know, I'm taking baby steps. I'm going to take this little lesson. I'm going to improve bit by bit, but I'm not going to become a different pony overnight.
Well, it is a straw man in a way because it's like half of one because like I'm pretty sure all of us can agree when we learn how to not be an asshole or we learn how to stick up for ourselves, we're not going to do it every time. We're going to concede battles every now and then because we don't want to turn like a 1-minute conversation into a 90-minute one just because we want to feel that we're right. You know, there's a pride problem or the disconnect of pride. He says
102 minutes into this into this discussion.
but you see my point though is that like just because this is the same thing with Spike is like he learns all of these lessons but at the same time he's a kid and kids are stupid and you know they need lessons.
This is true.
They need lessons repeated to them over time, and eventually they get it. And the same thing goes with like these characters in a way, because it's hard to break old habits.
Oh, Ferret's popped off. So I'm assuming. Ferret said what? Sorry. What?
Yeah, she said
she was
worn out.
tired.
She's leaving.
Right. Fair enough.
That's fine.
But yeah, we should
probably even keep a ferret entertained, so, you know.
Yeah, true enough.
Sausage Fest has continued.
I blame that, you know, I mean, I was only, you know, naked from the top up, so, you know.
Yeah,
totally.
You got a point there.
But yeah, fair enough. We should be wrapping this up sometime soon. Do we have any more questions?
We don't have any more questions from anyone, just want to make sure.
King of Beggars finds the fact that Vic knew what he was talking about absolutely hilarious.
Why?
Smart guy.
Yeah, smart guy. Aside from that, I think we've answered all of the questions so far.
How's that hilarious?
Yeah, because you were the only person who knew it, and the fact that everyone else sandbagged you super hard. They're just like, yeah, hentai. Oh, there we go. That's all we need to know.
Oh, talking about Netarare. Yeah. I mean, a friend told me.
A friend. Of course. Says the admin of Equestria After Dark.
That was like that was 2 years ago. I'm not the admin anymore.
Did you stop?
That's isn't it?
I was the admin for like a year and a half, and then I moved to EQD pretty much.
Well. I wonder how many people on EQD actually recognize you from there.
Like 2 commenters. 2 commenters over the past of like I read the comments from time to time, and I counted 2 people.
Wait.
Were able to tell.
I just want to clarify. You read Equestria Daily comments?
Only on the stuff I post.
You poor bastard.
Yeah. Okay, so here's the thing, is that I write basically editorials which are like, I guess, analysis videos in a way, but written form. And so I like seeing the discussions that people have, because there are a lot of people, and they're usually repeat commenters, that have an interesting spin on what my idea is. Because usually I structure these things in a way it warrants discussion. But the other thing is that there's this one dude, I'm not going to name him, but there's this one dude who every single time I do one of my editorials, because I'm not going to say I'm critical of the show, but there are points where I'm like, this wasn't the best way to do this. And this dude will fucking jump on me immediately and like highlight that part and be like, "This is your subjective opinion. The show is perfect." And I'm like, "Wow, you're delusional, man."
Does his name begin with T?
No.
Damn.
There's multiple arch they're spreading.
Multiple paths.
Yeah. Multiple paths. Oh
Too many
dear.
paths.
As far as I know, he's not on FimFiction, so I don't think you'd know him. But if you were to go through like some of my editorials from like 4 months ago, you'd fucking see him front and center.
Right.
I'm just
And like the commenters actually got tired of him too. Like they were being like, "Dude, you're being really an asshole to this guy." And he even said like, "I hope Vicodin gets fired. He doesn't know what he's talking about." And
Wow.
Vic, rip. I'm just going to say, as a member of EQD, I'm kind of glad that member of FimFix staff, I'm kind of glad that he's not on our site because we have more than enough of those people already. You could keep that one.
Yeah. Oh God. Yes.
well, that's the other thing. Is
Let's
like
just check.
when
We've
you're
got myself, who's a member of FimFiction staff. We've got Vic, who's a member of Equestria Daily staff and formerly Equestria After Dark, and we've got Arch, who is a member of Derpaburu staff.
We've got Ferret as well. She's EQD.
Ferret was, yeah, but she's not here at the moment. We could spend hours shit talking out of areas user bases.
Oh my god, yes.
Oh my
I mean,
god.
we can save another podcast for that.
Oh yeah.
But we don't, because we're better than that, at least when it's not a drunken stream.
We're not better than that.
I have enough rum. Give me like 15 minutes. Like, just straight from the bottle.
Whiskey.
In fairness, Ferret usually shames us against blasting in particular.
Oh no,
but she's gone now, so.
When I was doing
we wouldn't
do
name
the
individual people. We wouldn't name individual people. We've just shit talked the entire user base.
Oh, well,
So
it's not if you're singling out a person. You're spreading the hate to everyone. That's
I'm not.
Wait, I'm in that user base.
I think the main problem is that, like you said, there's literally no thank yous, so it's really hard to differentiate or like you can't balance the thank yous and the hatred because it's really easy to hate both Equestria Daily staff and like FimFiction staff because we're the arbiters.
Like
the arbiters are way easy to shit talk. That's the same reason why people shit talk the IRS and everything, even though the IRS is full of like underpaid employees who are just trying to help you out, you know, and their budget is cut consistently over the last like decade or so. But everyone is still like, "Oh, I fucking hate the IRS. They take too much time."
As an employee of the National Health Service who works in a pharmacy, Jesus fucking Christ. Jesus fucking Christ! You would normally like there was a gentleman last week. Well, no, there's a lady who came in with a prescription for some medication because she was pregnant, and you know people need medication. And she came in, and we looked at the medication, and it was very nearly blank. Like it was basically a slip of paper with the name of a drug on it, and there was a little more than that. And we were like, we can't do anything with this. Like, not only have you not got the like correct amount of like how much you need, the kind of dosage, you've not got where it's from, you've not got the doctor's signature, like the doctor hasn't even put his name on the fucking thing, and immediately after that, this lady's brother accused us of being racist because she happens to be black. Like, no, it's a legal thing. We can't do that. We'd all lose our jobs if we did that. Who you are is completely irrelevant. We just don't want to get fired, and also don't want to kill you and your baby potentially. So we're not going to do this.
That is one of the most vocal minorities that you could think of. Like that's one of your shitty stories.
Yeah.
Like that you could just tell.
Yeah, most people who come to a pharmacy to request medication, they're perfectly fine people. It's just one or two dicks who just kind of ruin the overall impression. Like I have way more stories of people who were dicks than I do of people who were, you know, actually nice people. And that's not because the dicks outnumber the nice people. It's because the dicks just stand out and just sort of like...
So to speak.
Yeah. So to speak, of course.
Punishment stays in the human mind more than reward. There have been numerous studies that have indicated that.
Yeah,
24-hour news cycles. Yeah.
Absolutely.
How do we work this?
Did we want to talk about the Mod Pie episode and how amazing it was?
Ooh, we don't want to talk about that because we've got the weekend spoiler ban. So we'll be talking about that next episode.
Okay.
Very interesting.
Spoiler, it's amazing.
It was fun. I'll say that much.
As mod pie / thread.
Yes.
Thread. That's all we need to know.
It has rarity in that scene.
Yeah, I've not seen the episode yet, but I have seen many reaction images of Rarity's face. I'm going to watch it immediately after this fucking hangout closes.
Yeah, it's pretty good.
They've been absolutely on point with faces recently.
I'll tell you what, though, Plum. When I say that scene, when you get to that scene, you will recognise that scene very easily, and you will love it.
It's one of those scenes, is it?
It is one of those scenes, yes.
It's one of those Yowie Professor Layton Ace Attorney pictures I found.
I was about to point out. A bag of Vicodin has linked at 03:51 a.m. http://rule34.paheel.net/post/view search equals Professor Layton versus Phoenix Wright Ace Attorney, and I think right there we just